One morning, 7-year-old Olivia was well on the road to recovery. Her dad was sitting on her bed, teaching her how to make animals out of colored pipe cleaners. When it got to her turn, Olivia couldn't do it. He noticed that her fingers and her mind were not working together. So he asked her, "Olivia, are you all right?" And she answered, "I am all sleepy, Daddy." 1 hour later, Olivia was unconscious. Growing up, I never paid much attention to vaccination. I just knew that my mother had to take me to get shots and I didn't like it. But 11 years ago, that changed when I had my first child. Then there was so much information that I should or I should not get my child vaccinated that was quite overwhelming. So I started some research and I reached to my child's pediatrician for guidance. Today, you're going to learn about the anti-vaccination movement, the consequences of unvaccination, the consequences of unvaccinating, and why you should vaccinate your children. According to Olivia Bennett's article published by the Global Pediatric Health, the modern anti-vaccination movement started in 1998 when the former Dr. Andrew Wakefield wrote an article about the MMR vaccine, linking it to the onset of autism in children. However, in 2004, the article was removed after some investigation found that Wakefield had conflict of interest, as that he was part of a lawsuit against the vaccination company, the vaccine producers. They also found that he chose and picked the data that was good for his case, and he falsified information. Finally, the United Kingdom revoked his medical license for being unethical, provoking dishonesty and controversy. Despite revoking his license and proving he's wrong, the damage that Wakefield did was already made, and the drops on rates of MMR vaccination continue until today. And now we're starting to see consequences. According to the CDC, measles was declared eliminated in the US in the year of 2000. It was a great achievement thanks to the vaccine that it's 99% effective. Measles has a fatality rate of 0.2%. or 2 to every 1,000 cases. That may not seem a lot, but considering that the US had 500,000 cases, that was very scary. The vaccine came out in 1963, about the same time that Olivia from the story on the beginning contracted measles. Recently, measles has made its way back to the US. The biggest outbreak was in New York. According to the New England Journal of Medicine, the outbreak started when an unvaccinated child came back from Israel with measles. 934 cases were confirmed, most of them in the Orthodox Jewish community. From those cases, 10% ended up in hospitalizations with complications such as encephalitis and pneumonia. Thankfully, no deaths were reported. It seemed like the Jewish community had been hit really hard by the anti-vax movement. For years, the movement was going around spreading pamphlets and magazines with misleading information, telling them that vaccine was not effective and it wasn't the reason for why the diseases were stopping. So far, you have learned a little bit about the anti-vax movement, the consequences of unvaccinating, and now I'm going to tell you why you should vaccinate your children. According to the US Department of Health and Human Services, there are many reasons why. First of it, vaccines can save your child's life and prevent feared diseases. One great example is the polio. Polio used to be the most feared disease in the USA, causing death and disability in over 15,000 people every year. And after the vaccine, those numbers dropped a lot, and today there are no recorded cases of polio in the US anymore. Second, vaccines are safe and effective. Before they give vaccines to the children, they are very carefully reviewed by scientists, doctors, and other healthcare professionals. There are some side effects which are expected, but they are nothing compared about the discomfort and pain from the diseases that they prevent. Third, vaccines can save your family money. A lot of those diseases prevented by vaccine cause serious sickness. And those sickness ended up causing you very high hospital bills and also life disabilities. Vaccines should not cost you any money. They are free with your insurance or paid by the federal government. And last, vaccines protect other people and the future generation. Some people cannot have the vaccine, either because of age, because they have serious allergies, or because of a disease such as an immunosuppressant disease. So it's important that the people around them are vaccinated so they don't get it. Also, as we saw with measles and the polio, vaccines can eliminate diseases. So our future generations never have to deal with them. As you can see, the anti-vax movement has been very successful in the past few years, and now we're seeing the consequences. But you can do your part and vaccinate your children because the benefits are much greater than the risk. So do you remember Olivia, the little girl from the beginning of this speech? Olivia developed a complication to measles, and unfortunately, she died 12 hours after her father thought there was something wrong with her. There was nothing he could do to help her because the vaccine was not available then. But the vaccine is available now, so you can save your child's life. Do your part and get your child vaccinated. Thank you.